record. Okay, so now we are recording. I've been going on for a while with this meeting. I'll have to start again now because none of you were there and you're only going to see this through the recording. So I'm going to share screen. And, here. Excuse me. So looks like the audio's coming through. Now we are sharing the screen and recording. I mentioned I had a hard time getting an internet connection, so my apologies. Just a couple minutes late. You might hear that. And there we go. So this is human growth and development. I know we do have a problem with the videos. I'm going to go in there. So I'm going to see if I can do that now, actually, and see if we got video, sharing screen. And it looks like this video is going. Yes. Okay, so then let's go to video 2. And it looks like this one's going also. Oh, okay. All right, so we're not going to be able to address this video. That's going to be a little bit of an issue. I don't really have anything that can replace this at this time. So we'll make, not to worry, do not panic. I'll take a look again to see if anything else has been uploaded. If not, we'll make some kind of an adjustment. I'll either fill you in or we'll make it work no matter what it is. Okay. Let me check video 3. Okay. This looks like it's not going to go well either. Oh, this one might go. All right, this one's. So we have an issue with video 2. So you can see the other videos. So let me go back to this guy and this down and
Anything else we
okay, there we are. So, all right, so we're going to go in here to the influence of heredity on development. Anastasia, I believe, was the student. I'm sorry, I'm not still learning your names. Let me go back here to do that. Okay, here we go. So, and we had some messages. Okay, so. Okay, so that one is blocked. That is the Human Genome Project. And then Design of Babies. Okay, that maybe, I don't know why that's doing that, but it worked for me, as you can see. So hopefully go back on there and we'll make that happen for you. Boy, this seems like kind of we can get it spiced up a little bit here. All right, so we go over here to course outline. I do want to go to the PowerPoint. Okay, it's coming up now. Okay. Okay, so the genetics obviously play a big part in heredity. I mean, that's kind of the definition of it. They're as it says here, the fundamental transmission of physical traits. You know, we get our looks from our parents, their texture, eye color, skin color, many different things, even our physical features come from our parents. Okay. This gets into the chromosomes. I'm not going to get into that here without having you on the call with me, but you can go through this PowerPoint by all means and look at the recessive and dominant traits and see some of the um, pitfalls, if you will, or some of the problems that happen. For example, when there's an extra chromosome, um, you have Down syndrome and characteristic features, rounded face, big tongue, flat nose, looking fold the skin over the inner corners of the eyes. They're cognitively impaired. When they're born like this, we've come a long way in terms of treatment and we're not developing to help lives in many cases. There's many different things that we're going to mention here as well. Different sickle cell anemia, obviously, is one that we get from our parents. Huntington's disease. More, I guess my takeaway from this is more our reaction about this, both in terms of curing as well as understanding probably is the key, and treating, if you will. Interesting that some of the diseases are, they're genetic, of course, but they stay within certain ethnic groups. Okay, let's go back to sickle cell. When I was, a kid, and I'm not sure old, some of you probably my age, or maybe not as old as me, but we first learned about sickle cell anemia, and it was only African American people who could get it. Well, that's not the case anymore. There are happens in African Americans, it happens in Latinos, and now that we're having more and more people of different races marrying and having kids, that can be carried on net. So the research keeps moving ahead, moving ahead, moving ahead. So it's interesting that what some of us learned as kids is obsolete now. One of the great things from a psychological standpoint when studying these different abnormalities is to look at twins. It's like a natural lab for us to see how twins do. Let's see, for example, certain twins. Obviously, there's identical twins and there's fraternal twins. Who identical twins resemble each other very closely. Fraternal twins, could be a boy and a girl, a male and female. So they have different characteristics, obviously. And I'm just hesitant to get into too deep here, with only me being on here, because I don't want to ramble on about something that you already know or something that you'll have questions about. So one of the things that we, that really something you can take away from this and really keep with you is the impact of drugs on the fetus when they're taken by the mother. Obviously, very bad. It was in my lifetime that people thought nothing about pregnant women drinking, smoking. They just didn't make the connection that was going to infect the baby. Now we know very well that it's common. It's not just in the literature. Or anyone knows when a woman is expecting that it is best for her to abstain from alcohol, certainly recreational drugs, always. Cigarettes also, because they are detrimental to the fetus that she's carrying. For instance, smokers, babies are likely to be smaller. Babies of smokers are more likely to be stillborn or to die soon after birth. Okay. even with men now. For a while, it was just the women that had the burden, but now we know that men who smoke are more likely to produce abnormal sperm, and babies of fathers who smoke have higher rates of birth defects. So, and infant mortality, I should say, sorry, and the lower birth weights and heart problems and things such as that. So, those are the things happening sort of inside along the way. And, okay. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on the PowerPoint slides anyway. I wanted to just talk to you. I wanted to get to know you a little bit and tell you a little bit about what to expect from me in the course anyway. And since we don't have others on the call or on the Zoom class live session, I'll just kind of go ahead and run through this. I do feel a little bit discombobulated because I had to run out of my office because I wasn't getting Zoom or Wi-Fi. I drove the road and pulled into this Panera so that I could have the class. I do like to have students join me in class live if you can. I know that everyone has different schedules. Some are working and have family obligations, not a problem. But if you can possibly make it on here, we can have a back and forth, and you can ask me questions about your papers and things such as that, and I can give it a real good answer here in real time. And so anyway, wanted to be able to do that. For instance, I'll just pull up your discussion question 1 here. All right, and yeah, there's the video, and I don't know if maybe we can. Let me just see if there's other. Let me back up because I feel bad that students are saying they can't get that. Go back down here. See if it works here. Okay, so what the meat of the matter in here is, oh, wait a second, let's see. Maybe that's the problem. Okay. Looks like it'll go. Yeah, all right. All right, so if you want to get into the sort of the biology of it that I kind of went through there quickly, we can do that a little bit more, but typically in my experience, students at Central Christian College and at this level at least, they're really interested in, what does it mean to me? What does it mean ethically? For instance, designer babies, these videos are, I don't want to, steal the thunder, but they talk about, designing the perfect baby, and do you want a baby, we can make babies with blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes, curly hair, straight hair. How far do we want to go with that? How much of that is ethical? How much of that is contrary to our religious beliefs? So, those are the things that kind of matter that you can actually take with you and talk and discuss, and just figure out how much of it with science is ethical. We want to make sure that babies are healthy, I would imagine, but how far do we want to actually take that? So we get into those kind of discussions here, and they get some sort of rich dialogue going back and forth in the discussions, and that's the kind of things that you can actually take with you as you go into your academic career as well as your profession. So we'll talk about some of those things. I do want to also let you know that I am here for you. My role is as your professor is that I believe in you, and I want to support you, and I want you to succeed. I am, have an obligation to the college to put in grades, and I have to evaluate the work that you submit, and I try and do that as fairly as I possibly can. So the work that you turn in that is superior and exemplary, then that's going to be reflected in those grades. The work that you turn in that might be good but not exemplary is going to reflect there. Like it's probably more like a B, right? And the work that comes in that is average is going to be graded as a C. That's fair to you because I know some weeks in my history and in the past here, some weeks the same student may turn in something that is outstanding, and then another week they might. This is a phone call. It might be from one of you guys, so let me just see. It is not. So I won't take the call. If I suspected it was from one of my students, I would have answered it. Because more obligations or overtime at work, so the next week the work's not as good. So I'm going to that's going to reflect in that student's grade. The same student, some work was good, some work was average. So anyway, but nonetheless, even when you turn in work that is not A work, I will give you the feedback on it, and it doesn't mean that I don't believe in you. It doesn't mean that I don't think you're capable. On the contrary, adult students, in my experience, are some of the hardest working people in their job and in their family and in their church that you'll come across. So, sort of by definition, I am assuming that you are hard workers and good students because that's been my experience. So I say all that to say if you're having trouble with something or you get stuck on something, it's important that you reach out to me as soon as you can. That way I'll have time to get the message, kind of see what we can do to help, and then put that in place. So the best way, and this is kind of important, and I put this in the announcements. Okay, the best way to get in touch with me is through the message tab in the course room. As I said, I check it every day, at least once a day, sometimes several times a day. So I think someone sent me a message yesterday afternoon or evening, and I had already checked a couple of times. There was nothing there, so I didn't see that until today, but I saw it today because I checked today and I responded today. You have my email address too, and my phone number is on the syllabus. That's my cell phone. You can call me or you can text me, but typically the quickest and most efficient, most effective way is through the message tab. If I get a phone call, I only looked at my phone now and it was ringing because I thought it might have been one of you. It's the first week, maybe you're having trouble getting on this Zoom session. That's why you looked at it, but I didn't answer it. So if you call me, it's entirely likely that I will not answer the phone because when I'm awake, I'm usually with students or teaching a class or with a client. I return those phone calls, but it might be that that's not a convenient time for you to talk. So a lot of times we're playing phone tag, which is not a good use of your time or my time. So the best way is the message tab. You can also send me a text. Typically, though, the better way is in the message tab, because the message tab is kind of like an email. You can be a little bit longer with your message and a little bit more detailed. Text messages is kind of hard. They on many phones, my phone included, if it's a long text message, it gets broken up and kind of put out of place. So it's kind of hard to understand. And the other thing with a text message, what shows up on my phone is just your number. I don't have you in my contact list. So I don't necessarily know who it is, so it's not priority to me. What is priority is if I know that you're there, and I check that in the message tab. I get a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls during the day. And emails is another way to get in touch with me. Again, not the most efficient because you have an email name that I probably won't recognize. Even if it's your first and last name, not something that I would necessarily, because I get a lot of emails, like I'm sure you do too, and I'm not sort of used to getting emails from you. So it's not something I'd recognize right away. Unfortunately, also with email, I get so many emails, as I'm sure you do too, if it's possible that your email will get sort of buried on top, on bottom of many others that came in subsequent to yours, and I don't check my email as often as I check the message tabs in my course rooms. So, and I know exactly the message tab is, you know, because your name's right there on the message tab, and I know what course you're talking about. Sometimes because I don't, I teach different classes, someone will just assume that, or the writing seems to, that they'll start talking about chapter 3, the question 4 in chapter 3, and I'm not even sure what book they're talking about, what class they're talking about. So anyway, I won't beat that anymore. But please, if you need me, do not hesitate. I'm here to help. The best way, again, is through the message tab. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I won't keep you on here. I do want you to watch the recording. We didn't do a whole lot. I did a brief little lecture there. I wasn't really going to go deep into anything today if I didn't have some interaction, but I did want to sort of introduce you to myself. I wanted to meet you as well, but I wanted to at least introduce you to myself. So I will obviously put the link for the record of this. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll put the link there so that you can watch it. And we will be interacting. I'm looking forward to this class. It's only day 2, but I'm looking forward to getting to know you all and see your work. So with that, I'm going to stop my screen share. And I'm going to stop the recording, and I will talk to you in the course room. God bless. Oh, wait. We have one more thing. We have to give you a Bible verse so that I know you watch this. So we're going to, I'm just going to go with Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So I might as well start at the beginning, and we'll go with that. So that'll be the Bible verse. I look forward to hearing from you. All the best.